What's up, everybody? Dave Bartosiak here. We're going to do another quick edition of Dave's Daily Dive into the charts. So as always, we're going to do a couple of macro charts, followed by a few Zacks Rank #1 stocks that I found that are breaking out to the upside. So first and foremost, let's get to digging into the S&P 500 here. We got the E-minis. We're looking intraday to see what happened. Now, today was the day that we were supposed to get the vote on healthcare, the repeal and replace of Obamacare. Well, technically, yesterday was the day we were supposed to get it. Didn't happen yesterday. It was supposed to happen today. And no, didn't happen at the last minute. Speaker Paul Ryan essentially said, no, we don't have enough support, so we're not going to do this. Obviously, Trump is furious, but the fun stuff is just starting. But let's see what happened to the market. Quick little rally here off the open in the S&P, and then around 10 o'clock Central started to sell off with the S&P E-minis up at 23.52 and change. Started coming down, bounced around the VWAP a few times, came here, rallied to the VWAP around 12:35 Chicago time, and then when we started to find out that, yeah, there's no chance of this passing, then the flush happened. And they flushed this bad boy down. 20 handles on the S&P. 23.32 is what the low was. I believe that might have been the previous day low. So if you look at the low here from yesterday's trading session, they ticked it just by a couple of ticks to the downside. Well, no, I guess here's the low of yesterday. So one tick, they took out the low, and then I don't know if you want to call it perfect timing. It felt awful suspect. Immediately after, one tick below that low, all of a sudden we got news that, hey, we're just going to table this thing and not going to vote on it today so nobody looks stupid. And the market ripped higher, got about 15 handles higher in just 15 short minutes, and then chopped around really nasty into the close and the end of trading for the week. So exciting stuff happening on that S&P 500 chart intraday. And if you think that was entertaining, you should see what happened to gold prices. Again, similar situation here. Off the open, it came down to the VWAP, rallied up a little bit. And then, so this gold trade is going to be the opposite of the 10-year, essentially, right? So when 10-year, it's going to have an inverse correlation with yield. So that's why I talk about gold so much, so you guys can see what's happening. And plus, it's a U.S. dollar thing, and it's a risk-off thing. So here you see right around the time the market started to rally, the gold prices started to collapse. And they went from 12.52 all the way down to 12.43 in a matter of about looks like an hour and a half. So what does that mean for the grand scheme of things? Well, it just means that for gold, that's a short-term top that has been put in. This is a bearish candle here, but it didn't exactly engulf all of the action that we saw over the last couple of days. So maybe this will retreat a little bit. You do have a commodity channel index that's a little bit overbought. So if this comes down, crosses through this zero line, we're going to have a sell here. But that would also imply that rates would be on the rise and a risk-on trade would be happening. And the S&P, I don't think the S&P agrees with you on this one. So I'll go back to the S&P here on the daily. And you can see, obviously, the big down day on Tuesday, sort of chopping around here today, but this is not exactly a healthy pattern here. We are oversold on the commodity channel index, so that's good. So maybe this thing can cross back over and we can get a little bit of momentum in the positive direction. One other thing I want to point out, why don't we look at the NASDAQ, pull that up here and look at the daily and see that the NASDAQ was actually up on the session. So after Tuesday, if you can ignore Tuesday, carved out a swing low on Wednesday and has chopped higher a little bit. Also have an oversold commodity channel index, so that could cross over. We're well above the 50-day moving average of 51.83. So this is still in a little bit of an uptrend. And now if we look on the daily intraday chart here on the 5-minute, you'll see similar sort of behavior coming down into the afternoon and then rallying up and chopping around in the middle of the madness there, though, heading into the close. So that's that on the NASDAQ. Now, why don't we just take a look at a few of these individual names that I saw here that are breaking to new highs. The first being Advanced Accelerator Applications, ticker AAAP. So I'm going to go back here to, let's look at July. Well, let's see. July of 2016 is good. You see a fierce rally going into the fall. Sold off, pushed below this 50-day moving average all the way down to the 23 level, and that was just in December. Since then, a huge rally off of the lows. Got into a little bit of congestion here at the 52-week high. Big day yesterday, propelled it upward. Didn't really get the follow-through that you wanted today, so this is something to kind of take a look at. But with this CCI crossing over the zero line, the volume really didn't come into play here. There wasn't enough of it to push it over the top, so just something to keep an eye on. As I said, this is a Zacks Rank #1 strong buy right now. The other one, I actually just added this in one of my services here at Zacks in the Home Run Investor. That is Casella Waste Systems. So they've been on a nice little upwards trajectory here throughout the course of the end of last year and heading into this year. Little pullback to the 11s, and since then it's kind of bounced off some really big volume days to the upside. That's great. Hopefully this confirms a breakout from the 52-week highs. This thing can continue to go higher with the CCI up at 218. I want that to kind of cool off back to the zero line before adding a new position, but I'm kind of lucky enough to already be in it, so I could basically look at it and brag. So that is a plus. Now, Grupo Financiero Galicia. I probably said that wrong, but GGAL is the ticker. This one is, basically an Argentine bank, and it's been pretty good, bouncing off the lows in sort of late December. Off from 23, and it's just been charging higher, finding support here at the 50-day moving average, and now it just doesn't care. Just another few breakout days in a row here. So really, the upside, I think, 40 is the obvious sort of psychological resistance there, but look at the run that it made here from December through January 23rd, so that's a pretty decent $10 here. So 40, almost 50% move right there, so there could be plenty left in the tank here as it's just gone on this recent run from 30 to just under 40. So there's still a lot of upside potential there, and again, the volume pretty healthy relative over the course of the last couple of weeks. So obviously it is in play. Logitech. So you know these guys, they make all the generic mice and stuff that you can get at Best Buy when you break something. Pretty steady Eddie here too. You got gaps up on earnings, and then it chops sideways, another gap up, chop sideways. So it's interesting that this one doesn't catch that post-earnings drift as much as some other stocks do. It really just gaps and then kind of goes sideways a little bit. Maybe that's changing now with this latest earnings season. It is at 52-week highs. Volume's kind of uninspiring here though too. So maybe this is one that you can just kind of peck at and hang on and just put a tighter stop, maybe 30s and change down here. Protect yourself from any fierce sell-off, although it hasn't had one in a very long time, so that's good. And then the last one, also a stock that's in Home Run Investor that we've had for a while, is Micron. Totally killed it on earnings. Now, the way that Micron works here, these guys do DRAM, so that's the chips that go into your computers and various Internet of Things devices. It's the memory chips. And those chips basically trade just like a commodity. So you have demand that really fuels the price and a relatively fixed supply, because it's not like somebody's just going to build a DRAM factory overnight and all of a sudden start cranking these bad boys out. So it's good when there's pricing strength in DRAM, and that's what you saw here with Micron. Something like 58% boost in revenues year over year. So that's good. Big jump. I thought I was going to get in the 30s today, but it sold off along with the rest of the market. That's okay. It's still off to the races and in a very good position. So there you go, guys. There's Dave's daily dive into the charts. Be sure to check us out, youtube.com/ZacksLiveTrader, and Twitter @Bartosiastics, BARTOSIASTICS. Check me out tomorrow. Have a good weekend.